Imaging camera, so you should be able to see me in there.
Oh,
so
cool.
red, orange, and yellow guy. So when I say that this is a FLIR, that means it's an attachment for a cell phone. This is what firemen would use to like just throw on their phone to go run into a burning building with. Okay, so this is not a phone app you guys are going to be able to download when you guys get home. So with this being a FLIR, I point out that I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy because that does mean I'm the hottest thing inside the frame, and it really, that line works really well with bridal parties, just so you guys know. But anyway, so we're looking for those cold spots that you guys mentioned. So the cold spots are going to be blue and black. We're always going to have blue and black in there, so I'm looking for it to move or to take shape. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. Hopefully we'll capture it again one day. I will just keep in mind, I'm not a TV show host. I will always give you stats of each device that I'm throwing at you. I capture about 4 to 5 pieces on this particular camera per year that I'll put my stamp of approval on, as far as like a full, blue person walking towards us, not 12 an episode. So just kind of keep that in mind. Again, I'm not a TV show host, and again, paranormal activity does not happen the way they show it on TV, unfortunately. I wish it did. But I also have this set up to where there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. You guys might not be able to see it from the angle that you're at, but that blue dot is there to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So we are about, what did I write down? I think it was like 58 or 59 degrees out here, so we'll just go with 59. So we're looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops, like you mentioned. So that's going to be, 44 degrees and colder. So in the event that we actually have a 44 degree and colder that's moving across the screen, obviously I'll take screenshots for you. And yes, those are bats, in case you were wondering. Yeah, they're starting to come out. It's that time of year. It's another reason why I like to pick this corner. So,
cool.
Yeah. They actually start to flutter.
I've never heard bats sound like that.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't have a lot of
Where do you guys live at?
experience with them. Connecticut.
I don't see why you wouldn't have bats up in Connecticut.
Like we did on Westland Road. There were a lot of
Definitely
bats there, but they didn't screech.
They're little ones.
Yeah,
They don't make noise.
Oh, yeah, we get bigger ones down here.
Oh, wow.
So with this one, Justin, this one's going to go over to you. Kind of give your hands a break because we don't want to record in between spaces and recreate the Blair Witch Project.
Got it.
Right? So, yeah, just keep in mind that there is somebody sitting in that one vehicle that we have behind you. I don't know what that's all about. Hopefully they leave and we have the whole space to ourselves. Which, by the way, congrats, you made it to a parking lot. Coach, I take you to weird spots around town. This used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. You were standing what used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. The mansion actually sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with 5 Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across. And basically where that car is sitting is where the servant and slave quarters were for the home. So that's basically the layout of the land. Who the heck were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. It's exactly why we look for those secondary clues. I need to know which Charles is coming through. In the event you hear the name Charles, hopefully you're going to get the secondary clue so I know which one it is, so I know how to address them.
I heard third.
Could be a date as well. Wow, that's a clear night sky. Sorry. I think out loud a lot. That's why he said my. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking straight, like, at Orion's belt, like, straight ahead of me.
Have you watched this show on Netflix called 3 Body Problem? No.
What is it?
It's like cool. It's about like physics, and one part of the show is like about the sky and like the universe like winking at people. It sounds so weird. You should check it out though. I think you'd like it, and it's
Yeah, definitely. 3 bodies?
yeah, 3 Body Problem.
3 body problem.
It's really cool.
Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, okay. Handle that. So back to.
There's like a real dark spot right here. It goes away and then it keeps popping the blue dot right there.
You guys see him recreating the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, why? How come you're doing that? is it recording?
Yeah, he's
it
recording
is.
right now.
Oh.
So
But
that
see
dark
right there?
spot
Oh,
is
it's just
because
not. Oh, see,
the
yes.
black and blue that he's pointing at. I'm talking right here.
Yeah.
That's because
No, I'm
this.
talking about this. There's a black.
Well,
See
remember,
that black dot?
It's
Yeah.
changing because. What's the degree?
50 or something. 50 in the 50s. No, 57. It's like right there. Yeah, right there. What is that? Metal?
Piece of metal.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, good. So I'm learning how this thing works. All
Yeah,
right,
you
good.
debunked it.
Yep.
That was
These
good.
aren't good. Okay,
That was
good.
the whole point. Good
All
job.
right, cool.
Back to the Chucks. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us. I hate politics more than all of you put together. We're going to move on. If I don't give those 2 Chucks that recognition, they're going to do it for me in a very nasty manner through your spirit box.
40.
Okay, see? That's what I'm talking about. They're like, just give us the recognition because they know I'm going to move on. So 40 and you had a 13. Okay, remind me to write those down. So we're going to be talking about Eliza instead. Eliza has a much better story anyway. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. If you guys are going to be asking her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from when young ladies got married at the ages of 12 and 14. Think of today's standard age of marriage because the husband was over double her age when they married. It was creepy then, it's creepy now. So I'm just going to put that perspective in the back of your brain. But anyway, she married him because her father was over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he can see him. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put right here, got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. She did marry this guy out of love. And if this is a true love story, believe it or not. So I'm not surprised. So 40, 58, and 13. So nothing horrific about this location at all. If anything, this is a place of respect. I know it looks like just an empty, gravelly parking lot. But again, this is not like somebody's going to be jumping out and scaring us kind of mentality. But anyway, she was right. Dad did not die right away. And instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That is a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. So some of you are wearing it right now because that's how we use it today. When Eliza got her seeds, she had no idea what to do with it. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going because it's obviously not warm here all the time. And they got a hold of her dad overseas and told him that the rice plantations were going downhill. They're going to make a killing with the indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial days. Something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit because that's why you guys are here. The average spike, by the way, out of Fletcher's device is normally about an 18 to 22 millig outside of this location. So the fact that he's already gotten a 40 and 58, like I'm still excited about that. And that's actually measuring electricity. Your TV, just so you have an idea, normally gives you about a 40 to 60. Your microwave gives you about a 150 to 170 when it's running and heating up your food. So he's already gotten basically enough that's keep it running for the entire time we are in that space.
Okay, because I'm not
moving around or in one spot, like looking
the same space in between spaces.
Yeah.
No.
Can I use it?
Because we don't care about what's necessarily being recorded with video. It's the audio too.
It's both. What are you talking about?
But my point, hang on, you guys aren't letting me finish.
Sorry.
So it's okay.
We're rude.
The reason why you're going to keep it on the entire time when we get to a space is because if you hit record by the time you think you saw something, it's gone.
Yeah.
You missed it. So even though like we were joking around about like you kind of moving it around the way you were, even still, I can still go frame by frame to see if something appeared and still get every other frame and put it together for you as a flip book if I have to. I've done it. So it was just kind of like a let's tease them a little bit and get feathers ruffled.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep it running for the entire time we're in a space. So that way you're gonna have like 4 to 7 videos and not like 15 to 25 little tiny videos. What'll happen is I splice them all together so you have one video to watch in order.
Okay, cool.
So that way it's not like, oh, we have here and then the last spot and then the middle spot in that order. It all shows up together. So that's kind of the way I piece it together for you. Questions for the two of you is your spirit box only gives us like 1 to 2 syllables at a time.
Yeah.
The mansion's not here anymore. So I'm going to have you focus just like whatever's going on with the mansion, like what happened to it. If you get the what, we will normally get 2 or 3 numbers from the date of when that occurred. So again, I'm not going to tell you what either of those things are, but also like the point I was going to make was audio can come up here. So if you're asking a question, he can get the audio, or it can show up here, or Lily might get the answer. We never know where it's going to go. Even if it was just the two of you to show up, we're always going to use a minimum of 2 communication devices. So I have others where you don't have to listen to them, so we would use 1 listening and 1 non. That's kind of how that goes. You're going to be focused on Eliza's death. She's pretty open about talking about it. Things we commonly get the answers to: how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So those are the 4 majors. If you guys decide to go rogue and start asking your own questions, just A, make sure they're respectful, and 2, that they're not yes-no questions. There's always a way to reword it. So like, oh, how did you feel about this? You know what I mean? Like, that's a feeling. We can't really prove that. So you want to go after like, hey, what did your house look like? Can you tell me something specific about your house? You know, just kind of go, I'm just thinking off the top of my head. So we want to get you unmuted for sure. I'm going to write down his numbers. I'm going to let you guys spread out a little bit and then kind of give you a minute to kind of get used to how your spirit boxes sound. And then I'm going to start basically checking in on all of you and seeing what's going on. You can use it later. Have you heard anything since we've been here?
If it's okay.
I heard a faint death in the background.
Okay.
I don't even know how to use this.
You just still unmute.
She wants to use this thing.
You guys can intermix. I'm fine.
I don't even know what to do
really
with this.
Cool.
Really,
no, you know really good questions to ask. And I feel like you don't really know how to use it.
Out of this.
Yes, you
it's
do.
on mute.
Unmute it.
And I have really bad hearing.
What? Eliza. Yeah.
This thing is already creepy.
Lily, you can ask me questions. It's okay.
Yeah, it's
Like,
okay.
I'm not going to be like, how dare you not pay attention?
Yeah.
Like, I get it.
Yeah. There's a lot of information
There is.
going
it's a
on.
ton of information.
This is really cool.
These are good
There
ones.
you go.
Big.
So if you can make
Can
any
you-
of that mess out, when you do get something, remember, you're not going to hear it.
Fun?
through
That's
the book.
terrifying, though.
It's just the radio. That's how you have to look at it. It's
Yeah.
just the radio.
You have to watch 3 Bobby Problem, I'm telling you. This is all fitting into it. It's really like bugging me out a little bit.
What did it say?
I can't tell. It's so garbled.
So if you didn't hear it, you weren't meant to hear it. Wait for the things you can make out clearly. Okay, so
Eliza, when did you die?
we're going to escalate it with each location. So we already had an intuition.
Can I turn the volume up on this?
I think it's all the way up.
I'm so deaf. This is wrong.
Eliza, what year did you die? Eliza, how old were you when you died?
How old was Eliza when she died?
I'm not going to
He said he's not going to give us any information.
yet.
I
That's
thought
what
I
we're-
heard the word. I thought I heard the number 30.
I'll write it down, but that's wrong. He heard it. He heard something. That's the point.
Oh God. I don't understand anything I'm hearing. Eliza.
Ask questions. Can you? Can you ask questions?
Eliza, what country are you from? Did he say?
Yeah, he said right here. Are you serious?
Eliza, did you come over on a boat from Europe? No, he said no.
No yes or no question.
Oh shit. Eliza, what boat did you sail on from Europe? My car's creeping me out.
I know.
Someone, what if it's just dropping and drug deal?
Is everything okay with Lily?
I don't know. Probably not.
What? He's hitting me? No, he's not.
It's a joke.
He would never do that. He's professional.
200?
200?
Getting a little-
200? Did you...
What'd you get?
It's getting a little clearer here.
Well, I just heard a woman say 200.
Okay. I don't really normally care
Nice
about
try.
gender.
Yeah, it
with
was
these.
like a higher voice, I should say. Maybe not a woman,
But
but
even
just
then-
like a higher sound.
Even then, unless it's a disembodied voice where it's the actual ghost voice. Now, even with that one not recording, I can take the audio from that and analyze it to
Okay.
kind of see.
Yeah.
But like with Lily's device, I don't care who's saying it.
Yeah.
I just want the answers.
Right.
So because
Okay.
again, they're going to use the radio like Bumblebee
Yeah,
and
that makes
Transformers.
sense. Yeah, of course.
I've heard some like weird disembodied stuff I couldn't make out. That didn't sound like radio chatter. That's why we record the audio.
Oh, we don't want to be recording the car, though, because that's...
So they get weirded out.
Yeah, I didn't mean to have it over there.
You're fine.
Ooh, it smells like a steak.
That's not what we should be focused on. We should be focused on trying to get answers about
Well,
Eliza.
if we weren't near restaurants and he was the only one smelling steaks, I would say that might actually be something.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I just was really quick to... Sorry about that.
No, he's fine.
I didn't.
You're both fine, actually. I want you to have fun.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We are.
I'm usually
This
just
is
the
cool.
interpreter.
No,
like,
this is cool. I'm having
so,
a great time.
Now with Lily, she's got a lot going on. Like obviously he's got pauses.
Yeah.
So I usually give the headphone spirit boxes, give them a few minutes, kind of
Yeah.
get used to it.
Yeah.
kinda
That's a
give them
cool role for her, and she's like really into it. I can tell.
So how old are the kids?
She's 18. She's
Okay.
a senior in high school this year. So,
Nice.
He's 15.
and he's 15.
That explains the shyness.
Yeah. And Lily and I have always just been into spooky. We always try to do it learn something spooky or
Sure.
not just spooky, but this,
I get it. Right.
like when we travel to a place. So, and she's super into it.
I
And
could tell.
it's
she's
cool.
Laser focused.
Yeah. It's cool.
She'll get
I
better
love
at it, believe it or not.
Yeah.
She's doing okay with it right now.
Yeah.
Some people really struggle with it.
Yeah.
But she'll get better as the months goes on.
Yeah. It's cool.
And
I
even
like
with your
doing
guys'
stuff
spirit
with
box
her.
at home, you should start off slowly.
Yeah.
And work your way up.
We didn't really know how to use it, I don't think. So now, definitely, and wherever she goes to college, because she's deciding on that now, maybe she should bring it with her and
Yeah. Well, most college dorm campuses are
Yeah.
of some sort.
keep
What do you got?
How she died and I heard husband.
She did not die by the hand of her husband.
I also heard war.
So they could have been asking questions, and then one of the kids who served in one of the wars nearby would have come up and said, "Hey, I want to speak too." And they'd be like, "Although I'm not going to speak to war. I want to know which war. I'm thinking about that war. Kind of goes by the hand of man. As far as what I same thing what I told them, I normally don't care about what gender it's going to be. Because you are using could be a male
Right.
voice giving you Eliza's age, but Eliza's using the voice to tell you
Right.
what her age is.
Okay.
So try not to pay attention to gender unless
Okay.
I find a disembodied voice back on the report.
Okay.
But if Lily's asking these questions, should I be kind of following her with this? Because what if she hears something and something's picked up on this? Could that happen?
So with this, being in the general vicinity of the space, you
It's
have to-
enough?
Right. So
Okay.
that's why I say stay close to the other spirit box because it is
Okay.
open speaker.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to have that recording to verify anything.
Right. That's
She
true.
does.
Because yeah.
And you have to imagine, I do go up to 12 people during the week, so
Yeah.
on the weekends. So if I got 12 people popping around here with 7 different communication devices,
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell's going to get the answers.
That's right.
I just know what the resonance is going to be that comes through.
Yeah. Makes sense. Are you asking any questions? You have to ask some
I don't
questions.
even know who we're talking about, Elizabeth.
Eliza, were you murdered? Oh, no, yes or no questions.
Who murdered you?
Eliza, were you in
Who
pain
murdered?
when you died? Oh, that's a yes or no question. How did you feel?
Who murdered you, Eliza?
How did you feel when you died, Eliza?
That was weird. I didn't.
Can I hear it? That's what
I
I
think
thought
so.
I heard, yeah. Let's switch.
I'm better at this. It takes no listening skills. My ears don't work good.
How were you feeling when you died, Eliza?
I was feeling so good. I felt great. I had 10 orgasms, and then he slit my throat. You keep asking that question. What?
Okay, fine.
I know, but she's not going to say she felt good.
Who was the president when you died?
Abraham Lincoln. you.
So, obviously, I'm pretty excited
Yeah.
about Fletcher's readings.
Yeah.
He was like 30s, 40s, 50s, like just bouncing all over the place. And we can stop that camera at this point. Give your hands a break. In the event that somebody's going to come through here, like just pass by, obviously you'll lower your camera. But they may come from all the way from the other end. Other tours might come out of the ivy wall, just so you know, Justin, because there's a little stairwell right there. So we just kind of lower it the other way, or they'll come in the way that we came in, and I'll kind of keep an eye on that for you. So, remember, your readouts would be 8 and above is what I'm looking for verification on this location. This is the location I was actually going to take out this year, because I do change this every year, because I do get a lot of repeat ghost hunters. I take out one space and add one new one. But with that, this guy likes to just follow me around town. His story's been told like 40 to 50 years now, and I'm the only guy that's ever come through that can actually communicate back. So he does follow us to the next location and our very last location. And I'll explain that in the event that that actually does occur. But this is Philadelphia Alley now. When you guys came down here earlier, was it with another tour? Did they tell you like what goes on down here? Yes. So this is Dueler's Alley. Every ghost tour comes down here. That's another reason why I wanted to take it out, is because it is a giant cliche. So did they tell you the story of the duel?
No.
Oh, wow. How did they bring you here and not tell you the story of the damn ghost?
It was more, I don't know.
But I know it was historical, but at the same time, like you gotta tell like what happens here.
Like, what?
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, I'm glad I didn't know.
Well, I'm
Now
gonna give you more
gonna-
details anyway, because the other ghost tours, like you're ghost hunting, you need those extra details for the communication devices.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Can I ask one question?
Absolutely.
When I'm using this, and if I see something, does it have to obey like normal world physics? Like, does it have to be walking down the thing, or could it come out of a wall, or can it come out of anywhere?
It could come out of anywhere.
Okay, cool. Because it's
Yeah, I mean,
supernatural.
exactly.
So,
Yeah. So
Okay,
it could
cool.
float down and do a little Spider-Man bow for you.
Okay, cool.
So we don't know what the hell's going to happen. The things I have caught with it though, it's usually been either standing still with a little bit of a slight movement, kind of thing, or we've actually the big one that I have is somebody walking right towards us, and we
Okay.
had another camera running, and I was able to verify that there was truly nobody there with the other camera. So that was actually caught by an 8-year-old girl. Like,
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, it was like holy shit, kind of moment. But anyway, so here's how this goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that Lily hears the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence, it's part of his name, we get it all the time. Anyway, Dr. Ladd moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So he comes here to Charleston to prove that he's not. So on his way into town, he had a coachman. And the coachman he had set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver, by the way. So if you're taking an Uber later, good luck.
Oh, shit.
I know, right? So anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen with this coachman, and that gentleman walking by was named Ralph Isaacs. And I stopped on his name simply because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from, Rhode Island. So we were getting the letters RI all the time on a device like Lily's, so I bought a new device. It's basically a digital Ouija board, but it works basically off of EMF, like Fletcher's device. So anytime there's a spike in EMF, it gives us a letter. So that I wanted to make sure we had solid pieces. We've gotten it about half a dozen times in the past year that I've had it. I don't always bring out that device. It's usually with my larger groups because the ghosts still don't know how to use the damn thing yet. And again, they have to get close to it. Anyway, back to Dr. Ladd and Ralph. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them, and you'll be safe and good to go. Doc took him up on the offer. Now the two gentlemen are friends, and the longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. And Amanda gets wind of this. She's moving down so they can be married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. There's another reason why I hate this story. It's a giant cliche. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. So let's talk about the duel. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats than Ralph. So on the way home from seeing Richard III, they're arguing over an actress that they just saw. And Dr. Ladd thought she was great, Ralph did not. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée. Back home in Rhode Island, it got really ugly, they went their separate ways. Ralph goes to his friends at the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. Doc saw this and rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this and somebody's going to die. So they came down, back to back, took 10 paces away, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, shot his one bullet out of his flintlock. He didn't want to kill his friend, he just wanted the courage to show up to the fight. You've seen Hamilton, you know how this works already. However, Ralph has his one bullet, he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die. He fell to the ground, his friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. I say all of that, and I'm going to point out two things. First off, it's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what we know of them now. Secondly, he's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. But he failed, because he died, obviously. Now, every ghost tour that comes down here will tell you to listen for the whistles. Do you hear how creepy and eerily quiet it is right now? It is always this quiet down here. Even when you guys came down here this morning or this afternoon, it was probably this quiet if you were to come into the alley. There's an air conditioner that runs from one of these buildings, so when it kicks on, don't jump start.
Yeah.
But most people tell you to listen for the whistles. We do have a camera running with audio, plus my audio recorder. So if we're going to capture a disembodied whistle, it would normally pop up there. However, dozens and dozens of times we've had the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor immediately after from a commercial. Can't tell you how many times it's happened, and I don't look for it. It happens. So again, I always roughly know where we are in the tour because I don't time this. I'm like, oh, we've been here for 18 minutes. It's time to go.
Yeah.
So I always kind of take a general area. So kind of keep that in mind. If you're going to try this on your own, I don't know how long you guys are staying here, but if you guys walk through this alley later on and you turn on your voice recorders from your phone, just remember that every local knows this damn story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down the alley. It's just kind of what we do here. So I do it every single day that I pass by this alley. Now, and I do that because I've actually been thrown out of here. Let me explain that, because that's actually the fun part of the story. It also shows off my history a little bit. Have you had any numbers, by the way? No. Okay. He just looked up at me like really fast, unless he just wanted to know how the hell I got in trouble. So the alley didn't always go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall about halfway between us and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this used to be called Cow Alley, before Jeweler's Alley. This is where they kept the livestock. So cows, chickens, and goats were down here, right? So all of this down here, that means that the bricks on the other side are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there and a fingerprint swipe and others. Did they tell you about that?
We saw that.
Okay, so I used to take my group all the way down for a history lesson. Nothing paranormal about it. You already know how I feel about graves. That's the last place you're going to find that kid who made that handprint. November 26th of 2020, I took my entire group down there for their lesson, and they all huddled around that damn brick waiting for something to happen. I told them nothing's going to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along, because we're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. He came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on the tour that night and her father's getting yelled at. She thought it was hysterical, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't work on Thanksgiving simply because I worked for upper management in Walmart for a long period of time. You guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving, and you scarred me for life. The next day was the 28th of November. I called my partner that I mentioned earlier, and I told him what happened with the neighbor down at the end. And he laughed at me just like my daughter. And he said, dude, you can't go down that way. Like, you can only go down halfway to the alley. Otherwise, it's residential. So you got to reroute your group. But I told my team that night, because I'm sold out again, it's Black Friday, I got to take you guys around the corner, but I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen over there, and I'm into vampires, not pirates. All right, obviously we're discussing pirates next. Before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be discussing. The female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I'm like, okay, maybe we'll get something. We go around the corner. I told them a little bit I did know about pirates, which wasn't much. Somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what it means. I wrote it down. And it turns out we were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. The exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So most people are pretty like, oh, wow, I can see that. I was actually kind of pissed off because I have a master's degree in creative writing, and I need facts and data, especially when I'm doing this. If I'm writing anything, I like facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore that was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, the days of Blackbeard. That's a problem. That means when you guys find something, I have to read more books to figure out how much of that is actually true to make sure I can verify it. I've read more books on piracy than I've ever wanted to in my entire life, just so you guys know. However, with all of that, I've watched more documentaries, played video games of pirates just to get different versions of the story. That's just kind of who I am. I like to overkill on it. So where we're going is a 50-50 if Anne will be there. I'll explain why we're there and why Anne would even haunt that place, but we're also hopefully going to get bleed over from the emotional attachment from this place over there as well. I told you Doc likes to follow us. Any readings at all?
Not really.
Lily, did you get anything on your end? I know you're on mute, and obviously
We don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he was filming you. I was like, I looked over at it and it was
Are you
actually on you,
serious?
like this. So he's gonna have part of it like
Justin.
He's fine. Well, it's your video, so just gotta keep that in mind. And now it's gonna be sideways. There you go.
There's always one in the group, you know?
Always. So it doesn't matter if it's 2 or if it's 12.
Okay, it could
There's
be
always
2,
one.
actually.
Yeah, so it's always one. So we're going to go up and around the corner, and hopefully you're going to continue to listen, Lily, and then we'll be able to spread out like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site, and we'll know pretty quickly, like after I go through the history there, if we actually have something going on or not.
Okay.
Are we ready to learn about Rated R Pirates then?
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow, nobody got
Let's
my
do
dad
it.
joke.
Rated R, I did.
I'm going to take it one step further since you guys were on a delay. If the letter R is not a pirate's favorite letter, what is it? Wow, I stumped you?
Hold on. If the letter R is not the pirate's favorite, what is it?
Come on, Justin. Come on. I'm waiting on it. It's such a good
You're so
dad joke.
educated. Come on now.
It
Use your
must be the
brain.
C.
Oh my God.
Let's go to the pirates.
I wish I knew that. I wish I came up with that.
Somebody actually came up with a better answer one night because I do the same thing every
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
And they were like, "Aye."
Oh,
I'm like, oh, that's a good
yeah,
one.
that is a good one.
I
I
like
kept
it.
thinking like, yo, ho. What? Should I keep this on mute right now?
No, you can unmute it.
Okay.
Normally in here I just say mute it in case it's worth it.
Yeah.
Nobody's in here. Okay.
What the fuck was that?
What said it? Sounded like it said, shoot. Shoot me.
Did it say shoot me?
Yeah.
With writing down after talking about dueling? That makes sense.
Sit. Fewer syllables, like she's doing longer things. Yeah, she says something that's really loud and then like it gets quiet and she turns it up and then it's just like, what? What's that?
It is like wintertime quiet out here. Like, it only is usually this quiet, like in like January.
It's weird.
It's super weird.
That's so creepy over there.
Take a break from the bag. There's still like 20 pounds in there. It's usually about 25 to 27 pounds.
Why don't you carry it for a little bit?
It's how I keep my girlish figure, because I'm out here 7 nights a week.
Oh wow, yeah,
All
that's
right,
a
what
lot.
you got? You look excited. Like you need to tell me something.
I heard 30 and I heard death.
30 and death again. What's with you and 30 and death?
I don't know.
That's the second time she's heard both of those terms.
Shoot.
Oh my
Is
god.
there something I need to know about?
No, I don't know. Is it that she's gonna die at 30?
I don't know. She's making predictions over there.
Oh God.
I'm not
I'm
psychic.
really- I don't know. I heard it twice.
I heard dead.
You heard dead?
Yeah.
She's got death. I did write down shoot me.
Yeah.
That 47 is throwing me off. She heard
It
47.
was, yeah, it was funny. Like, wasn't even singing, it was just a voice.
I know where it is. You said you heard it closer to Pinckney? The first parking lot we were
Yeah,
in?
it was the first time I heard it.
Big John Spencer in 1947 to your parents. I know I said 47 somewhere. She also had New York. I know it was like 45 minutes later
Yeah.
that she heard the 47.
Yeah, that's right.
but we were still in close enough proximity. So she's dead. Yeah. What the hell that's referring to? Yeah, you're making predictions. It's not on me. It's on you. So this place, just so you kind of know, I actually get excited about a 2.5 in here, and usually only on the back half. So the closer you get that way, we do have parking meters to electrical poles with the transformers pretty low, so you're going to get like 4 to 7s up there. So kind of keep that in mind. I will breeze through this history as quickly as I possibly can, just because there's a lot here, and I will slow down on the twists. So that way we can all get back to work, because Lily's like, I've seen a couple stifled Johns. I'm like, we got to get her back to work. So I caught you, don't worry. Now, this place, did you guys notice the tiny little building up there? Did it tell you what that is?
This right here?
Yep, with the crosses on it.
No.
That looks.
He was paying attention. What is
Yeah,
it?
Was there weapons in there?
Yeah, it was gunpowder.
Yeah.
When
So-
did you hear that?
They
he was
told us
paying
about
attention
it.
on the tour, and we clearly weren't. So. Good job, Fletcher. I love it that you know something.
I don't even remember being here.
Okay, well, we were.
Were we
Probably
here?
passed in front of it.
Oh, we went in front of it?
We're basically behind it right now. But it is the reason why we're here. I bring us back here so I can make the point about the EMF readings, and the other tours, they always cut across and they'll like say something about the building and move on. We're here because, first off, you need to know that those are not crosses on the building. Did they tell you what they were, Fletcher? You remember?
Not that I remember.
They're earthquake bolts. So in the event that we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, you can tighten up those earthquake bolts, and it will tighten up the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea. It just doesn't work. You guys see them all over town. Like
Yeah.
even this apartment building has them on every single floor if you look hard enough. Like they're there. So in a nutshell, why we're here is those earthquake bolts are the first set that Charleston ever put in. So because that is the oldest government building in South Carolina. That is part of the reason why we're here, because it was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. That's what I call a familiar building. So for those of you that watch the TV shows and the YouTubers, they're using a new device. It's called a Boo Buddy. So basically it's a teddy bear with the blinky light K2 meter inside of it. So if a child comes near it, it goes off and says, ooh, that tickles, and makes it kind of super creepy like Elmo, right?
Oh, wow.
So kind of think of that concept of the child recognizing it as a toy with this building and recognizing it because it was from her era. We don't have many buildings from her era around here. So it's a 50-50 roll of the dice if she'll be here. We more than likely will hear more from Dr. Ladd than we will from Anne Bonny, but Anne Bonny's tale is super cool, so we're going to get into it. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like the government? Small building, 10 years? Thank you for laughing adults. So 1708 is where this actually begins. So the very beginning has the biggest twist. So the young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. You guys with me so far? Justin, you with me?
Yeah.
The three of them, you see, he had that blank stare.
Yeah.
The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was the wife that she kicked them out of the country? Like, just going to point that out. And by the way, there's no planes back then. They came here by boat. So it's 1708. They landed in Georgetown. That's in between us and Myrtle Beach, so about 90 minutes north of here. Dad bought a plantation up there. Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne from Georgetown down here to sell things from the plantation to keep things going. Hence the familiar building. Now, back home in Ireland, Anne was said to be a badass even when she was a little girl. They say when she was only 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So picture a little kid stabbing somebody to death. So just going to put that out there. That's the kind of mentality of this young lady. Now, he's like all about it now. So fast forward, the building's done in 13.
Sorry, a pirate.
Pirates are starting to come through Charlestown in 1715. Anne is stoked. The reason why, she's going to fall in love with one of these guys so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world during these times. So the first guy she fell in love with, and I said first slowly, is because there was a good handful. We're going to cover all of them. That's what makes the story. The first guy is James Bonny. You already know where this one's going. I told you her pirate name already. Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac became Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name is. Now, when they get down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wanted. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering. Now, Jack has his own ship. He has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of the crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship because it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like the crew, look like them, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this. The reason why is Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it, man's world. But we're pretty much all adults here. Let's put two and two together. She's a female in Jack's quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl and get rid of Jack as captain. They'll vote him off. So before she starts to show her pregnancy, he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby here. These are friends of mine. They'll help you. Come back later. We'll figure it out then. She goes and has the baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the child, by the way. None of my research has ever discovered it. So if you ask while we're out here and you get a direct answer, I just can't prove it. It's personal to you. Now, she also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. Now, he was going to know he let a girl on the ship. To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the crew the Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like male pirates on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Anne and Mary became friends, maybe lovers, we're not really sure because of the time frame and when all this stuff was written down. And the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of Navy ships to come take down one pirate ship. Rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns cannot take on a whole fleet of Navy ships with cannons. So they get arrested. And as they're being arrested, she looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, "I'm so sorry to see you here, Jack, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot on your communication devices. Now the judge, he wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge could give a shit that they are female. They are still pirates. He is still going to hang them. They scream out, "We plead our bellies then," because they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman back then. It's illegal. What the hell is that? Oh, see how quiet it is down here? An electric bike going by made us all turn our heads. Holy cow. Anyway, so he sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging, but Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary because we don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know Jack anything about her after her pirate career because it's all for speculative fiction. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. You can use your imagination on that one. Most books tell you it was fever. I'm going to say, let's make it romantic. Call it scurvy. Why the hell not? Now, here's what I'm not going to control the environment like what I did at the Pinckney Mansion. You guys can ask whatever you want to. However, I'm going to give you a few things that I left out. The names of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I didn't tell you what those were. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland, that comes through from time to time. The name of Calico Jack's ship, and the color of Anne Bonny's hair. Anything else you want to ask is fair game. And I normally say, if you brought a bottle of rum and a little bit of tobacco, let's have a good party, because that'll probably attract her a little bit more. So again, you guys know how to use your devices by now. Again, don't get too discouraged if you don't see anything. Again, you should be sitting at flat zeros. Most of the time it is flat zeros in here, but if you get a 2.5 or higher, I will be excited. So let's get you unmuted for sure. We only have 1 car in here, just like what we did at the first location, so we are fortunate enough to spread out. Let's have a good time. Trying to get Billy back to work.
Yeah.
Got anything, Fletcher? Got anything, Gabby? Did you make that sound? It sounded like you made that sound.
What was the sound?
I don't know. It's like sounded like I don't know. It sounded like a baby blowing. I don't know. It was weird. Blowing a raspberry, like going.
What are you talking about, bro?
That's what I heard.
Weird.
I know it was. That's why I was reacted that way. Why don't these earthquake bolts work?
tighten a building, and these ones are even stupider. Let me show you why. They're on all four sides. So
Yeah.
instead of it being just, going all the way across, if you were to tighten all of those on all four sides, all it's going to do is squeeze the building on every floor. So even if it's like cracked and whatnot, and you're squeezing it, you're just making those cracks worse.
Yeah,
It's
that
just dumb.
sounds.
Most Californians just giggle their asses off at me because they know that technology is so old. Like, nobody uses that anymore.
Like, when was the last time they put those in?
I have no idea.
But they're. I mean,
They're in a lot of our buildings now.
but it's not a. It's.
It's just
they
part of
haven't
our
done
Charleston
it for the
charm.
last
Yeah, I would
100
say-
years, right? Or
I
do
would, I would say probably nothing past 1940, 1950. So, but yeah, most tours will point them out because it's just part of our Charleston charm.
When
They're
it-
in the shape of lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of
Right,
stupid
right.
shit.
What on the inside? What do you see the beams going across?
No,
or-
it's in between the floorboards.
Oh, okay.
So in between the ceiling and the floor of the, so it's going to be in between. So they're just turnbuckles. So you just tighten them. But yeah, you can see how crude these are.
Yeah.
So I want to say like these were put in like 1891 or 92, if I'm not mistaken. But the building was finished in 1713. So I mean, we're talking 180 years after the building was already here. But they were like, we got to protect this building. Put those earthquake bolts in.
Right. Right. Got it.
The architecture of this building is fascinating.
It
Like
is
this is
cool.
a good $5 to spend on tickets if you want to get out of our heat or cold, because it is like it's got sand underneath those shingles that was originally put there from the 1700s. So if the building explodes from gunpowder because it was hit from a ship, then the sand is designed to go up in the air. The walls are too thick for it to blow out, so it goes up and then falls to put out the fire of the gunpowder.
Oh, that's very cool.
That's another idea that doesn't work. We had another one of these down closer by the battery. It did get hit because it's closer to the water, so bigger impact from a ship, and it did blow up. The sand went up, but it just fell to the ground, and so did the building. So the whole building just burned to the ground. I mean, this thing held a crap ton of gunpowder, even though it's a small building. So if it gets hit by a cannonball, it's going. Like the walls are also 4 inches thick or 4 feet thick. So I mean, they're this thick. So if that cannonball is going to hit, it's going to have a hard time getting all the way
It's
through.
not gonna go through.
Yeah. So interesting,
Why
fascinating
are there
building.
so many fires in this city? Like I know they had the big 1861.
Yes, there's a
fire,
lot of them.
But it just seems like
most
the
things are
guy
made
said
out of
everything
wood.
was burnt down here,
Well, most things were made out of wood. based
and then
on how old the
everything,
city
all
is.
the lighting was candles.
Right.
and
So if one thing goes,
kerosene
it's going to
or
carry
whatever.
over. Right.
Yeah, it's just
I mean,
crazy.
the church
Probably
had
just-
fire damage to it. I mean, everything here has had some kind of. I can't tell you how many records have been lost in like our archives because there was a fire that year. Like, I can't tell you how, like when I'm going through and I'm like, oh, I need to find this record of this birth, that death, that marriage, this, that, or the other. Gone. Can't find it because you'll see like the gap of like this year's, archives of records are just missing.
Yeah, fuck, it's crazy.
It is. It's nuts.
So much history just gone.
Gone. That's what you got, Nick?
It's weird how some places are like have way more activity, and it's still just a parking lot.
Yeah. Still just a lot. We're just proximate.
No.
What'd you get?
No. Well, I heard brown, like clear as day brown.
What were you asking?
9. I wasn't really asking anything. Just like when we were talking about the color of her hair, but then the doctor. And then I heard,
Is that Yukon?
I was.
Is that what?
Are they celebrating the game?
I don't know.
I was trying to figure out where in Ireland, and then I said like, I know you said no yes or no questions, so I said like a city like Dublin, and it said no.
So it's still a direct answer.
Yeah.
I get where you're going. And that answer is correct. It's not Dublin.
Okay. It was just like coincidental. No. And it was 20.
Who's winning the Yukon game? Dude, I just got a cold shiver over here. Seriously, something like passed over me. You got any readings?
Nope.
Oh shit, there's a group of fucking people over here. What the? Do you think scares them?
Fixed in on. Do you think you see something over there? Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
That's what still the first initial 6 months of it. Like it was literally I was watching every video minute by minute.
Yeah.
Like just to learn.
Yeah.
Anything crazy over there?
I don't know. I felt over there. Just I didn't see anything on here, but I just felt I felt cold in a shadow. Like
Okay.
no, I
Were
felt
you
like
filming like
Oh,
the
were
whole
you
time?
yeah, I
really
was
nauseous?
filming. Yeah, I wasn't nauseous,
dizzy?
but I felt something like
A breeze.
I thought something moved above me, but
Oh,
then I
wow.
looked and I didn't see
Oh.
Okay. So I'll definitely take a look to see if anything's
Yeah.
weird in there.
over there.
So again, like even him, you know, you said something earlier, and I'm like, no, he should be paying attention to that. Like if he smelled steak,
Yeah.
you know, when the rest of us
definitely.
weren't.
Yeah. You have to.
I mean, there's been times where like I smell peaches or something stupid, and it doesn't make any sense. Nobody else smells it, and all of a sudden it smacks somebody later on,
Yeah.
and they're like, I smell it too, and I'll find that that smell actually is relevant to that location.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Lily, anything?
Cool.
Girl, you gotta get better at this. You're supposed to get better.
I just don't hear anything.
Okay. So I think like we can honestly say like there's not a whole lot going on here tonight.
Yeah.
Right? So we're gonna go over to that wall so I can set the bag down, and I'm gonna explain our last 2 stops. Yes. Okay. Lily, can you hear me? Perfect. She's under. So, slide that over your noggin. And all you'll have to do is look straight ahead. When you start seeing an image, just let us know what you see.
I see a galaxy with stars.
Okay, good. That's the background. Henry Timmer. You can push forward, please. We're going to ask you first about your occupation. Give us anything about your occupation. Anything at all. You can show us an image. We're using the green box tonight. This is Justin. He can see whatever you want us to see. And this is Lily. She can hear whatever you want us to hear. In the event you guys see something where her like breathing gets a little too excessive, you know, that's the reason why I don't write anything down during this, to make sure I keep an eye on her breathing, but you know them better than I do. So just kind of keep me posted if something goes wrong.
Okay.
I've seen hyperventilation during this before. People
Okay.
get really freaked out about it. I don't like to tell them that before they're under.
Right.
You get the point of why I waited to tell you. Henry Timrod, can you come forth and give us something about your occupation, please? Henry? If somebody else is here, could you just say your first name so we know how to address you?
Well, I see like a battle scene.
Okay. What kind of battle scene?
On a field, and it looks like it's hard to get down.
There's actually, you have a focus point. So Justin, if you reach along the very top of here, you'll find a dial. Go back a little bit. Go back, go back, go back. There you go. You can move that dial. I'm sorry for that to show you that. Now describe the battle scene. specific war, color uniforms?
It was too hard to see.
Reach
but
out.
They're fighting on a like probably. They had swords, so it looked like
Are you
French
ready?
or like Revolutionary War time, maybe later.
That was, you said sword.
I see a bunny.
Bunny?
Yeah, a white bunny, a white rabbit.
Is it like
It's just
a
sitting there
painting?
stationary. No, it looks like a. It just looks like.
Will
an
you
image of
save
a
me?
bunny.
She might actually get too loud. Like, what the hell's going on over here? She's gonna speak up now? She's fine, but if she does, like, sometimes they escalate and escalate.
It's just, yeah, this
Don't
is,
try.
Henry, what's with the white rabbit? What's that about?
Oh wow, the white rabbit he disappeared.
Yeah, they hop away. The images don't stay long. And we will see anywhere between 1 to
Is
12.
Lily okay, do you think? Because I just heard her go like a big
She's
breath.
alright. She's
Is
breathing
she
fine now.
okay?
The sighs are common.
Okay.
It's when it starts to become hyperventilating.
Okay.
Conversation.
She was a little on the loud side.
Purpose.
We're gonna let her go.
Should I say
Not
something?
yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Like, that's about the average of what I was not
Okay.
expecting that from her, because
Yeah.
this is like that's what I would expect from anybody else.
Okay.
I think that's why I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, now she's gonna get loud.
Yeah.
Henry, back to you, sir. Back to your work. Tell us.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on with the battle scene that you showed us.
Nothing's going on. But
What's he
You're
doing?
not supposed to answer.
Yeah, what's he doing?
am I not supposed to speak?
No, not unless you see a picture. Right now, you should only see Galaxy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trippy though.
It is true.
I see faces.
Henry, what was your occupation? Unless, of course, you want to talk about the war. But unless those were bayonets inside of that picture that he saw,
Looks
Doesn't-
like it.
doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I saw some.
Okay. We'll see it when, like, I'll be able to show you the images he saw.
Yeah.
And it'll be on your report, too, so that helps. Henry. Oh, she got really quiet all of a sudden. Henry, back to you, sir.
Weaknesses.
No, she's going to start talking. Henry, did somebody else
33.
somebody else come with you tonight? 33. Do you guys remember the year that Mary died? It's 1933.
Oh, wow.
Transform.
This is actually how I learned about it. We actually had an image of a woman on the ground, same time era. You put that image of what we
Oh.
had next to Mary herself. They're twins.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's what inspired me to go over there and start learning. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it meant. I had to dive in.
Oh,
and figure it
wow.
all out. But the 33 is actually exciting. Mary, if you're here, do you want to give us more?
Difficult.
Is it difficult to do that? Can you give us the name?
Protect you.
What was the name of the doctor you had after you got shot here? Let's kind of get verification that you're here. If you want to tell us the name of your doctor or your name, that would verify who's actually here.
Oh, God.
Watching you.
Mary, did you want to tell us something that we couldn't get from you earlier?
Right here.
Your breathing's getting a little heavy.
I see that, yeah.
I have some image, but it's just white, and I can't really make out what it is.
Okay.
It's just
Maybe-
shapes.
Audience?
Just geometric shapes.
Okay. Is there a triangle in there by chance?
I don't know, like the bottom just looks like these round egg-like white things. It's just weird. Nothing really.
Henry, if you're here, you know what the code word is if you want us to leave. But Mary, seems like more things are coming up about you. If you wanted to tell us anything, we're listening. I don't know what these shapes are.
Liar.
Mary. Her left arm gave like a little quiver earlier, like after she was having a hard time.
Should we?
So if it does it again, we'll yank her out of there.
Okay, because she's under.
Yeah.
Can't tell what's going on because I can just send this thing.
Yeah, let's get her out of there. Her head's
Okay.
shaking.
Okay.
I want to see. Should I take this off?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take you out of there too. So we pulled you out of there because you kind of did a couple really deep, like, big breaths, and you were shaking a little bit. So I wanted to make sure you were okay.
Are you okay?
Okay. So we're still gonna keep you out, just because
Stay
again,
out.
sometimes it can be very disorienting. So there's a button next to your volume. I'm gonna take this so we can see the images that you saw. But